Hi, friends. Host Eric here. Host Talking Famous People. I should poo first, but it's not quite ready to come out of my butt yet. And I'm not sure if it's going to be 1 minute or 5, So I might as well start the live stream first, I guess. I should poo first, but it's coming though. Let me tell you, it is on its way. It is sent ahead with a messenger to announce its arrival. Which is exactly the same as your mom's face. I think I'm going to smoke this one cigarette and then I'm going to go in and poo. If you're here to criticize me for not pooing first, I don't blame you. I should have pooed first. But you know how I am. Maybe I should put up a sign that says pooing, BRB. For when people come and they're going to be like, well, where's Eric? He's nowhere to be found. And they'll know. I'm pooing BRB. Oh, gurgling bowels. My Indian name is Gurgling Bowels. I mean, Native American name. My Indian name is Kang Krishna Gurgling Bowels. But my Native American name is just Gurgling Bowels. The other thing is, I just took an Adderall right after I ate lunch. I got a new prescription. I just took one of them. But, okay, here it comes. Here it comes. It's time to go poo. Right now. There's no fooling around any longer. It's time to poo. When the poo time people come calling, it's your turn to answer. And there ain't no hows and what's about it.
Godspeed. Hi, everyone. The 3 people who are in here. Eric's got to poop, as you know. He'll be back. I could answer questions, chat amongst you guys as well. Definitely the live stream should start after the poo, but he'll get it out and you guys will have your live stream. Hey, Octavia Silva. Hi. It's always good to see you. What are you up to today? We just got lunch. Eric almost died of starvation. Oh, you're babysitting. And what up? 16 playlist. Winnie the Pooh. Yes. Actually, we talked about Winnie the Pooh the other night about how we think he's an ISFJ because he's always going after the honey. How are the ferrets? How's your son, too, by the way? The INTP. I used to be a babysitter. Octavia. I babysat from when I was like 15 to probably 25. It's painful. I'm sure it is for you. How old are the kids? Or the kid? You're doing cool. It's worth it for your first car. Oh, 4-year-olds. So is she answering back to you? Like, no. It is tiring. Well, I was a camp counselor also. So I had kids in my camp from the ages of like 5 to, I believe, 7. And then I had 9 and 10-year-olds. And if the parents liked you, they would ask, hey, we work, during the school year. Would you like to babysit, when we go out on the weekends and stuff? And I was like, yeah, sure. I already knew how the kids acted. And they already saw me as like, I guess an authority figure. So it was great. Thanks, Levi. Yeah, I was a good counselor, I have to say. Camp counseling was one of my favorite jobs. And ironically enough, I don't know if this is actually the term that you use for irony, but I'm using it. Ironically, I ran a camp last summer, right? So being a camp counselor forever was my favorite job. I had so much fun doing it. I loved the kids. I had parties with the counselors. It was like a great summer job for me. I was out in the sun. I was playing games. Plus, it like was Incidentally, I ran a camp during the summer, and it was one of the worst jobs I ever had because instead of using me in the correct position, which is camp counselor, like head counselor, they made me like director of like planning trips and stuff. So like head counselor, but I wouldn't be really like involved with the kids. And so I was in charge of setting up all the trips and the lunches and the activities for the day, but I wasn't really interacting with the kids. So it was like my purpose there wasn't being used well, and it became a tough job. Actually, there was an INFP you would be good at that. That's good. It's good TE stuff. It is. You'd be able to do that for sure. You're an ISFP, right? Yeah, Levi. It is draining emotionally. I mean, I'm sure for ISFJ, especially because you want all the kids to be having fun. Like, it wasn't so bad for me because in my mind, they were having fun. And if they weren't having fun, it was because they just didn't want to have a good time. So.
You stay there, baby. I'll sit right here.
How'd it go?
It went really well. I gotta tell you guys. It was what you call a major symphony. It wasn't an opening act or anything. It was a main act poop.
Yeah, I explained to them that, you wanted to the poop was probably supposed to be before the live stream started, but you just, wanted the live stream and then let the poop happen.
Yeah. It happened pretty much right away. It took 5 minutes and it was like, okay, here it comes. But here's the thing. Let me tell you guys a little bit about my poop cycles. You see, for some reason, my poop likes to deliver itself like a fireworks show, sort of. It's got, I'll have a burst of poop, then a burst of inactivity, and then a burst of poop, and then a burst of activity. Each of those bursts of poop is saving up some extra poop for behind for the main act at the end. So this is like a cycle, like a week long, 2 weeks long, even maybe of pooping that I have. Well, that right there was a main act. That was a real main act. It was like, wow, that's a lot. Oh, that's like the poop starts coming out, and it's like the opening scene to Spaceballs, where the ship just keeps going and going and going and going and going.
That's so funny. I consider those wins, especially for men. When they have men talk about their poop a lot, and when they have ones that keep going, 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 and it's like a snake almost.
This wasn't even a snake. This was like a tree trunk just.
Wow, baby. Wow. Wow, loafer all the way through?
Yeah, well, maybe at the end it got a little skinnier.
Okay, well, I hope so.
Yeah, but, a good chunk of the beginning of it, a good stretch of it was just like, whoa, where is all this poop coming from? How do I keep so much poop inside of my body? I could feel it all finally coming out. I was like, oh, that's the poop that's been kind of teasing me the last few days, going, I'm not really coming out. Those are just miniature poops.
Yeah. I have it too.
They're opening acts. My colon likes to put on a production, like a show. It's got opening acts and intermissions and stuff. And I just want to get straight to the big poop, but it doesn't want to play that way.
And Levi Samuels, I can totally see that. That's too much for an ISFJ to really. Was it just you too? Were you the only counselor for that group of kids, or did you have someone that you worked with? It is draining. You have to be able to have that FE kind of. I think. I had a good partner too. I was really lucky twice. So I was it can be very draining. I mean, I didn't do anything all summer. After I worked, I would just went in my pool or I slept. Really, really. So.
Well, okay, so pooping is an important part of life, and so is eating. Earlier today, I was down to a 6% chance of survival from starvation. I was that hungry before we finally got our food at McDonald's. 6%. That's how low it got. It's my chance of survival.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was bad.
Just eat by. Otherwise, I wouldn't be lifesaver, and I'd be dead of starvation.
Mm-hmm. He was keeping me updated the whole time, so yeah, it was bad. And Levi Samuels, you probably would have been my favorite camper.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Who's an ISFJ, Levi? I'm thinking, pretty sure at this point. Randall Thor. Randall Thor from the book series The Wheel of Time with Robert Jordan. The main character is, in my estimation, an ISFJ. Congratulations, Levi.
You're welcome.
You now have an important character in literature.
A strong
ISFJ. You should sleep first, but no, Rain and Wind. You can't sleep first. You sleep afterwards. First, you should poop. Then you should sleep.
Yeah.
Don't poop in your sleep. That's foolish. So anyway, with some food in me, I haven't been sleeping well. Ironically, one of the things that makes me want to get back on Adderall is the fact that I'm not sleeping at all. It's like I'm not sleeping for shit. So I might as well just be up on speed, you know?
Mm-hmm. Hey, Tiny Man 66.
Tiny Man 66 is here. Tiny Man 66.
Thanks, Levi. I take that as a compliment. I really did love being a counselor.
I like your name, Tiny Man 66. You're my camp counselor, Rachel.
I am. I try to be like, to let you roam around and be you.
I scraped my knee. You go, it's okay.
Okay, now go see the nurse. Yeah. Actually, I was really good at that. When a kid scraped his knee, I was always like cool under the pressure, which made me feel nice, you know, like I went through the courses, I took all the steps, I took in all the TE, and when it actually happened, I was able to quickly implement it. The one correction that I got, I didn't wear the safety gloves. And I was like, it's fucking camp. Can we just chill a little bit?
With the safety gloves?
Yeah.
You're so depressed, you can't stop thinking of embarrassing situations you've been in? Or you're having an FESI loop. Well, congratulations, Tiny Man 66. I'm here to absolve you of your concerns. Don't worry, we all make mistakes. We all do stupid shit and embarrass ourselves.
Oh my gosh.
You
Hello.
just gotta live with it.
If you guys watch this channel, I embarrass myself all the time.
I embarrass myself a lot too.
True.
So, I don't think Rachel usually embarrasses herself, but there's been occasions when she does stuff that she's probably embarrassed about later.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Betamoine, that's pseudoscience. 5-HTP or L-tryptophan. Now, amphetamines, that's a good cure for a sleeping disorder.
Vitamin 66. I think I said this before, but I'll say it again. The character in your icon looks like the teacher from Arthur, in the cartoon Arthur, that teacher. So that's a compliment, and I like it.
It's like a squirrel or something with a yellow mustache?
I don't even know.
I think so. Finland doesn't exist. Tiny Man 66 is right there.
It doesn't.
He's right about that. Mr. Ratburn. Who's Mr. Ratburn?
Yeah, Mr. Ratburn. He was in this cartoon called Arthur.
Oh, okay.
And he was the teacher. His name was Mr. Ratburn.
Your icon is Spurdo Spardo? Who's Spurdo Spardo? I'm going to Google it. Is that a real thing?
Probably.
Spurdo Spardo. First of all, no umlauts, please. I thought you said Finland didn't exist.
No, your name. Aha, funny. Sprite image of Pooh Pedo Bear. Oh, it's a Finnish thing. Oh. That's very particularist of you. I've never seen this dude before. Can you look up Mr. Ratburn right after?
Mr. Rathburn, sure. Mr. Rathburn.
It's a Finnish name. Ratburn.
Ratburn. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, same color.
Yeah, the eyes, I guess.
Yeah, the eyes very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
and same color too.
Uh-huh. Just take it as a compliment. I don't know your Finnish thing, but Mr. Ratburn is cool.
I'll tell you what else are cool. Pogs.
Pogs are cool. I collected them as a kid.
You can't go wrong with Pogs.
That lasted 2-3 years, Pogs.
They are so fun. Boy. Rachel and I spend about 6 hours a day playing with our Pogs. That's how fun they are.
Let's just trade them. Everyone loves your Pogs. Come get your Pogs.
Thanks, Tiny Man 66. I think if you Google Mr. Ratburn, you'll see why she thought it might be Mr. Ratburn.
Huh?
I'm telling Tiny Man 66 that if he were to Google Mr. Ratburn, he would also understand why she thought it was Mr. Ratburn.
Like a meme of Mr. Rapper. It just reminds me of Rapper. That's it.
Just get your jealousy ready, British Shockwave, because you are so jealous. We are indeed having McDonald's.
All right, I'm gonna cover my pipe because I did have that as a goal for today. So I'm gonna take
What's your goal?
to clean my pipe a bit.
That's a good goal. You know, that's
Thank
a
you.
good mission for a day.
Thank
Clean my
you.
pipe. You know, it's a
Thank
manageable
you.
goal. Ratburn looks rapey. Ratburn looks rapey is a great name for a band.
That is. Mr. Rapper looks rapey.
No, I think just Ratburn looks rapey.
Yeah, Rapper looks rapey. I like that. Where's the long? Here.
Not this one.
No. I mean, I
The
can.
longer one. I'll make you another one. Oh,
Okay.
I gotta get you a stick. Hold on, I gotta get you a stick. Skewer.
Oh.
Do you have any in here? No. Oh, look. Did you know this was in here?
Oh, sweet. Okay, good. So we have another one. We have plenty of masks. Thanks, Tiny Man 66. Much jealous? Can you not get it yourself? Brave Shockwave? I used to go for walks and get McDonald's. Sometimes I would just get French fries and a Coke. Treat myself. I'm 35. Eric is 49. So, we have this long pipe cleaner and it's great. It's made out of a big paper clip, but for some reason it likes to travel. Thank you. This is perfect. Oh, it's looking out for me. Thanks, babe.
You're welcome, darling.
Okay. No.
So we put this magic mesh stuff. Rachel looks 21. She's 35. Scar. Yeah, Sky, are you an FE dom? Hey, Sky Gear, come on. That's not nice. You're saying he's just blowing smoke. All right, this is nice here. Oh yeah, that's juicy. That's juicy ear gut.
Yeah.
I love the juicy ear gut. So right. Ryan makes me incredibly gay. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Ryan and Fine make me incredibly gay. Either with the cat, with Rachel, with myself in my ear. Right. I enjoy Ryan.
I enjoy you rhyme too.
Right. In my opinion, a good party, it has toothpicks. It also has floss, swords, and Q-tips. So you can Q-tip if you want. And then you have a little trash can right there because you don't want to have Q-tips all over the house. But a good party has Q-tips. That's what I'm saying. So you can ear swab. That's a real party. I don't have any right now. Was it kind of flirting with you, but then kind of treating you like a friend? That is weird. So if the internet does that to you again, Levi, just be like, hey, just be clear. You're giving me mixed messages. If there's any famous people I ever talk with, no, not celebrities. Everyone, you're a famous person now because I've talked with you. Being a famous person is a status that is conferred upon you by being part of this YouTube channel. If you are well known but not a famous person, then you are a celebrity. Okay? I have not talked to any real celebrities. The most celebrity-ish person I talked to was what's his name? Mikey Mike. Mikey Mike. Yeah. That's fine, but if the internet doesn't know cognitive functions, that might not work, Levi. Oh, it should know cognitive functions by now, having hung out with you enough, you know.
BRB.
All right, you BRB. The situation, I've already pooed now, David White. It's over. You can stop panicking. I should have pooed before I started the live stream, but I didn't. But that's fine. Now it's all over. I pooped. It was a main act poop, a full symphony. Bye, Vandermoinen. Don't forget to eat plenty of Finnish cheese. Okay, yeah. Understandably. So, in kind of typical Adderall fashion, I guess, I took one, then I took another. I'm taking two now. And I'm feeling almost tired, but not really. No. Mikey Mike is not who I'm talking about. Mikey Mike's he's a fairly famous musician, not very famous. That's the closest celebrity I've talked to on the channel. You know who I should interview for the channel is my friend John Goodner. He's maybe the executive producer or associate producer, I'm not sure which, of It's Only Sunny in Philadelphia. Or It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You know that show? Yeah. My friend's like either the producer of it or associate producer. I used to go to parties at his house all the time. Hi, Alan Bryan. You like that show? I don't really watch it, but a lot of people tell me they like it. Rachel likes it. Yeah. Holla back, Alan Bryan. Holla back. I'm going to lie down for a moment. Okay. In the desert on a horse with no fame. Is that what you're saying? What was some crazy crap from back in the day? I mean, it's like I don't know. All the craziness is stuff that doesn't really stick with you in life. like the crazy parties and stuff. I mean, I have plenty of memories of, like in college, one July 4th, we all took acid and made a turkey in the oven. That was a fun day, but I don't really remember what exactly happened or anything. Everyone was tripping and cooking a turkey for some reason. We got it in our heads that we were going to go to the store and get a turkey and got a big ass frozen turkey and cooked it for like 6 hours in the oven, and then we finally ate it. Is that crazy? I don't know. I mean, I had crazy experiences in my, before I was 21. Like, my friend Dave and I went down to Tijuana when I was about 18 or something and got just plastered drunk for, on the course of like a 2 or 3 day bender trip. You know, woke up, like, where am I on the sand on some beach, and ended up crashing the car into the back of some other car and driving away. And, was it crazy? Yeah, it was crazy, but it was not a good thing. Yeah, sure, we do coke. It's like we got coke occasionally, but coke wasn't any big deal. I never thought coke was a big deal. I always found it annoying. Like at the Eagle Rock House, Corey and I would have parties that anybody would be like, wow, this party's going off. It was pretty cool. But even so, I never attained. I was always neurotic. It's like I should have been neck deep in pussy, but not me. I was celibate, abstinent. What you would call now an incel. Although I would have said, well, it may be involuntary, but just because I'm just not adequate, and that's my fault, not their fault. That's how I would have said it at the time. Really, I didn't know anything about chicks. The whole thing scared me, whatever. But it didn't stop me from being cool and having cool parties and stuff. Yeah, I agree with you, David White. And my first brush with meth was back in that time period too. I'd do meth occasionally and tweak out playing music and stuff. Uh, Corey was the scene reporter for Herb magazine. If you want to look it up, Corey O. He was a scene reporter for Herb magazine, and he had like VIP access to every rave in town. Basically, everybody knew who he was. And I went to a rave one time. I went to a rave with him a couple of times. One time in particular, though, fucking thing was going off. It was the most raviest rave I've ever seen in my life. Multi-level, just everybody dancing, just really amazing. But I don't know. I don't think I think maybe, I don't know what drugs I was on, but I wasn't feeling like being there. So I didn't stay very long and I left. No, you shouldn't, Levi. There's no point in it. That's what I'm saying. These crazy stories in the past involving drugs and stuff and parties, they weren't memorable times in Jonah. They're not things that that stick with you and prove to be particularly meaningful. Some of them, occasionally, it's like when you're young, you think, man, these times together with my friends are so critical, and I'm never going to forget them. And this is what life's all about. It's about this connection that I'm having with my friend right now while on drugs. Bullshit. That's all bullshit. Okay, you can just forget about that right now. That's all bullshit. Doesn't work like that. Like that rave I was mentioning right there, I overdid it on the nitrous tank outside, because Corey had VIP access to shit. He got it, so we were just able to have free balloons from the tank, right? And I had like 4 or 5 when I fucking fell over like a tree onto the cement. So, drugs are not, whippets. They had a tank because, I don't know if they can still do that nowadays, but in the olden days, if you were a industrious raver, you bought a tank of nitrous and sold balloons. Industrious raver is a good name for a band. Right now, I'm sort of waiting for the drugs to take effect. I took 2 Adderall after lunch. Um, I'm feeling the general kind of drug sweats, but I'm not actually feeling thorax at all yet. I got work at 4 o'clock. I really don't like to do this job, but I'm doing it anyway. 1 day a week, 2 hours. That's it. I told her I'm not doing any more than that until after summer. The nitrous mafia will get me now for selling balloons. Well, I wasn't selling them. I was the recipient of free balloons because of Corey's VIP status. Are we going to have another 1 a.m. stream tonight? Probably. Mikey Mike passed away on January 11th? Really? Wow, he was really young. I want to Google that shit. I don't think you're right. I don't see anything that he says he died. Mikey Mike dead? I don't think he's dead. I don't think he's dead, but it doesn't look like there's really anything about him recently. Last month, Mikey Mike. He posted something as recently as May 5th, 2020. He did a live stream. Yeah, he doesn't appear to be dead. You got the wrong Mikey Mike. It's Mikey. I went to a show and interviewed him. Let me see. You said. It's a misunderstanding. He's not dead. So get this. My buddy, Mike, a.k.a. Mikey Mike, I see. Mikey Mike's alive. Well, it's sad about Mikey Mike, that person's friend. Even though he's not famous, it's still sad that he died young. What do I feel? Bill T. Walton, I believe you. You are a beast. You are an ESTJ after all, endowed with the superpowers of vengeance that only ESTJs can muster. I feel this strange calm come upon me. Well, you are, Aaron, and Levi, and Skygear, and Octavio, and Bill T. Walden, and Alan. You guys are all famous because you participate in talking to famous people. But not everybody's famous. My cat is, obviously. My cat's super famous. You know why? Because she's a kitty pageant winner. Okay? Not kitty pageant second placer. Kitty pageant winner. I've noticed it's very common for any doms to have very deep lore. You're right, Bill. You're right as always. You're Bill T. Walden, after all. What does the T stand for? Tiberius?
What's making you sigh?
Sort of waiting for the drugs to take effect, I guess.
Oh.
And sort of just settling into the drugs taking effect.
Okay.
And, accustoming myself to a new world order. Bum, 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 bum.
Bum, indeed.
Me take drugs? Yes, I take my prescription pills, though. The doctor insists I take them. Eric, have you not been taking your speed? He says, if I don't take it. I took Adderall. Adderall, Adderall, oh, so lovely and precious. Adderall, Adderall, oh, so very delicious. No, sure enough. This is a support room for men with gigantic penises. Large penises is next door.
Ooh,
I like that entry though, show enough. I like it. Yeah, I don't know. You might be in the wrong room. Right. This is for gigantic. So, I don't know. Slop it on the table there, buddy. Let's see.
Yeah.
I think the drug is taking over Eric. He's singing now randomly. I'm always singing randomly, Levi. Don't accuse me of being on drugs even though I'm on drugs. You want to get on my shit list? Bill T. Walton has a hit list. I got a shit list. Oh, it's just next door. No, you can just stay here. It's fine. This is the all penis size room, okay? Everybody's welcome. Everybody's penis is appreciated the same, regardless of its girth, length, breadth, width, weight, heft, or straightness. Look, let me tell you something important. You don't want to have a pancake penis. That's the one thing you don't want to have. But the penis, it's very, very flat, very thin, flat, but very round like this. That's the only kind of penis that I would say is not an adequate one.
So maybe this is the live stream he was looking for.
Yeah. But who knows? Maybe he has that pancake penis. He said it was for large. He didn't say whether it was large in circumference, large in length. He didn't really say. Bill T. Walton, can we not please genital shame? I do not have a micro penis. Even if I did, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I don't like genital shaming. I find it uncouth. Don't be uncouth. Okay. Should never have gotten into this line of conversation at all. I would have gotten away from this line of conversation, except I got up too quick and tripped over my dick. Let me change the subject and talk a little bit about this new strain of weed we got called Zuki's. Floor weed. It's more than the last couple of oh, there's a vagina analyzer too. This is great. I am interested in Octavia Silva. I am sorry I did not immediately do this, okay? That is so not right. That is not what my penis looks like.
Did you use your middle name?
No, it's you put your 2 here. If you put a different one here. Oh, I guess you do have. Yeah, you can't put your middle name if you want. That's true. Okay. Let's see.
They were taking a kicking.
My Eric, the name Eric, the penis analyzer is pathetic electric catfish. Ability 19%.
What? This doesn't seem like a nice game.
My middle name is the sensitive rhythmical ecstasy.
Wow.
Ability 48%. And my last name is the selfish fantasy kitty. Ability 46%. It's wonderful.
Okay, let's
do the vagina analyzer.
Oh, there's a vagina analyzer?
Yeah. All right. Okay, so Rachel, the honey cool zone vagina, ability 42%. Your middle name, the positive pond, ability 24%. But your last name, did I spell it right? I think I spelled it wrong.
Yeah, you did spell it wrong. Uh-oh. Lape. Where did you find this?
It's just so funny. So let's see. Oh, you lost a lot of points there on that E.
You know what, but I like that abalone.
Yeah,
I like
the
abalone.
milky abalone, 41%.
Okay. Well, I'd say that my penis and your vagina are pretty compatible.
Since it's my penis in your vagina.
Dyslexia, okay?
Let's see about our anuses.
Okay, yeah.
Anus analyzer. We compare the anuses. Okay, so we'll compare our anuses side by side.
Oh, I like that.
The anal analyzer. My anus is the soft, passionate spring water.
Oh, it is. It goes with periwinkle.
29%, and the ruthless lemon spring water.
Whoa.
23%. Both of them are under 30% for me on my anus here. Oh, Rachel, the exalted sensitive vase, 73%.
Wow.
With Lapalosa's, the everyone lemon oasis. The everyone lemon. Rachel, have you been letting everyone into your lemon oasis?
Only 30%.
Oh, okay. Let's see. We also have affinity. Penis affinity.
Oh, for oral? This
is
of the kiss.
Oral. Okay. I see. Penis design. Let's see. Interesting.
Yeah, it really is.
What's vagina affinity? This system analyzes the affinity of male and female. Enter the name.
Wow.
It's simulating our sexual intercourse. Right, analyze.
So what does it mean? What did we get?
I don't know. It's just
That's-
like simulation again, but maybe it's going to give us something different.
Yay!
73%.
That's good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm
happy with that too.
Ooh. There's a tits analyzer.
So this is the way that we'll be able to tell how accurate. LAP.
No, you got Rachel's tits, not Lafalosa's tits.
Yeah.
You totally have Rachel's tits. Satisfaction rate should be 100%, though.
What about Christine? I want to see what it would be.
All right.
Rapalosa. This
Why
is
don't
so
you do
funny. I definitely have Rachel's tits.
Yeah, those are Rachel's tits right there. The heavens marching ruby. D cup. The wild gorgeous comet. E cup. The active bitter bowl. Yeah, you got Rachel's.
Yeah.
Of the three
Heavens
boobs.
Marching Ruby. Ooh.
What's palpation? The palpation of the vagina. Enter the name of the researcher and the subject.
To you.
Please operation slide the silhouette of the finger. Mm-hmm.
It's funny.
That's what you're saying, you see?
Oh. Change of insert. Oh, I see. So it's your two fingers?
Mm-hmm. This is a silly game.
This is. Are you?
I'm going to spread you apart too, see?
Mm.
This is amazing. Where did you find this? How did you find this? It's amazing. It's so strange. Only Japanese would make this. So weird. Okay. Well, if you haven't checked out that link yet, you're missing out.
Yeah, you really are.
You should be at that link right now. That's one of
very
the best links
entertaining.
anybody's ever linked me to in a long time.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
I know I'm pathetic electric catfish. I know. It doesn't look like my penis, so.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't look anything like my penis,
No.
so. I gotta say he's gotten it wrong.
Yeah, because.
You sense a bored computer science major? Probably. Feel like making boom bum 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 bum. Feel like making bum 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 bum. Feel like making bum 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 bum. Feel like making love to you, baby. When I think about you, I think about gloves. Darling, when I talk about you, I talk about gloves. I feel like making do 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 do. I feel like making do 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 do. Feel like making gloves with you.
That's really good.
Thanks. Ever since I entered the glove making business, I've mastered that song. What can you say about the FI critic in INFJ? FI 6 slot, or what I call demonstrative, it is the FI displays their FI. I mean, the INFJ displays their FI in order to facilitate their FE in the tool slot function. And they don't really use it themselves. So when Rachel's trying to determine what she should do, she doesn't ask herself, well, how do I feel? She asks herself, well, what's going to happen? Basically.
And then how would I feel about that if it's gonna if it happens?
Right, rather than what does she actually feel? So that's an example of not using your 6 slot function in your own life. I use TE pretty well when I'm solving other people's problems, not when I'm solving my own. Would you like this?
Oh, thanks.
See? Like, without trying to, I kind of continually anticipate problems that Rachel might have and try to attend to them in advance.
Thanks, Honey Fox.
I'm starting to feel a little bit more poppin' fresh.
Oh my gosh, like a
Pillsbury guy.
Yeah. You're my poppin' fresh, baby.
Thanks, darling.
You are.
You're my chicken pot pie.
That's such a high compliment. Thank you.
Say bye-bye, chicken pot pie. Say hello, raspberry roll. How do you do, potato teeth do? I'm doing fine, strawberry wine.
Oh.
That's right, you say to Delilah, and she'll let all.
Oh, that's so nice. It is such a high compliment.
I used to bounce her on my knee and I'd say, and the bunny goes, po po chicken jump. And the bunny goes, po po chicken jump. And the bunny goes, po po chicken jump. And she'd go, yee, again.
Oh.
Yeah, that's some memories from parenting. Parenting memories.
Mm-hmm.
Parenting was cool. I'm so done with that, though. No, really. I'm glad I had that experience, but I don't need any more of that. I'm back to being the eternal man child. When you're a parent, you got to be an adult, you know.
Well, it is a little bit late to have like I know couples who are trying and then they have a kid at like 49. I'm always really happy for them because you can tell they've been trying for a long time. But I mean, for you to have another child at 49, I mean.
Well, Rachel, I don't know if you heard, but I just gave birth to one right there. Fortunately, that raises very quickly and then leaves the house.
Oh, thank God.
Rachel, do you want children?
Want?
For what purpose? You mean to eat?
I can actually absolutely say that I've never wanted children. I've thought about that I'd be a great mom and that if I had one, that it would probably mostly be difficult for me. So the answer is no. Yes, I do. I do already.
Yeah, you already have a child. His name's PP. We also have a kind of a wayward teenage son named Pete. Peter comes back and he just throws his laundry and then he goes and it's like he's pretty inconsiderate as a son.
Who?
Peter.
Oh yeah.
He's a surly teen.
Yeah, he is.
He comes back, he squawks at us, "Fade man."
Yeah, he wants to know he looks good. He's getting the new feathers and stuff.
Right. He's always looking at himself in the mirror.
Can I have food? I'm here for dinner. Can I have some food?
Peter, sit down and talk to your family. Mom, I got something to do. That's what Pete's like. Yeah. Then trouble's like this shady, like teenager from across the tracks that's trying to hang around your daughter, and you don't like him, but you kind of feel bad for him. He's kind of noble in his own way.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's trouble.
That is trouble.
Yeah. Stuff to do is watching episodes in Naruto or listening to our book that we're listening to, which is we were enjoying until starvation started to get to me.
Children are our future. That's why other people are having them. A lot of people have kids,
Let them meow so they can meow the way.
Yeah. Just because one person doesn't really want to have kids, even as a kid, I was like, it just always seemed like for me it was going to be a lot of work to have kids. So I was never really one to be like, yay! Once I get married and I'll have kids. I was always told since I was younger that it would be difficult. So I was always kind of like, if I marry someone and they want to try it, yeah, let's do it. But it was never a dream of mine. That's more of the answer. No. I have not been ever called Feely because I disagree with someone in an argument. Neil Bender.
She doesn't get particularly you wouldn't accuse her of being excessively feelings focused when she's getting into a dispute with me. I would accuse her of being inadequately feelings focused.
Yes, I am. They do make her Jewel feels thieves. And also, if anyone watched Game of Thrones, you can use little children who are orphans to send to be spies.
Also, if you watch Schindler's List, you can use them to clean the inside of Nazi bombs.
So many purposes.
Lots of purposes.
You want to go back to industrial times? Maybe that'll fix the economy? Child labor.
Child labor. That's a good policy prescription for economic turnaround.
Yeah, and all those kids who are so troubled, that's what they'll
have a job. They'll work at the factory.
Systems make people work.
Yes. That's very TE of you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Who said Rachel's TE poll? What's your rhyme, email Anthrax?
Yeah.
Does it rhyme girlfriend with hurling pens? I'm such a giving prick, you should call me St. Nick because I've got more hose than Santa Claus and wear red when one's on the rag. Well, see, that's why she's not happy about it. She's upset because you're talking about womanizing, but she's your girlfriend, you see. So, and you're like, but it's just pretend. Yeah, I know. You don't want to have more hose than Santa Claus.
No.
How many hose does Santa Claus have?
Mrs. Claus.
He only has one. So you can have 2 hose and still have more than Santa Claus.
True.
You know, I think you should take my approach, Anthrax. My approach is simply this. Lil B can have none of my bitches.
Lil B?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Here's they taught advanced theft back in elementary school. Sounds like a recipe for a chaotic society. The Reddit icon is black now. Big news. What would you call an array of hoes? A harem, obviously. An array of hoes is a harem. Hi, Jason Blood.
Hey.
A hoed list? No, that doesn't make any sense at all. What do I think of the quality of your rhyme? Was it good or okay or bad? I think it was. It was pointlessly misogynistic.
I'm sorry, Kitty.
You should instead rhyme a rhyme about how you are so in love with your girlfriend and how you don't want any other hoes. If you want to talk about having sexual intercourse while she's having her uteral lining stream forth from her vag lips, then say you love her so much and are so dedicated to her that her blood is like the froth of angels, rabid angels, spitting on you. Like the froth of rabid angels slathered on my knob. My girlfriend's period blood delights and amuses. Now there's a rhyme for you, emailed Anthrax. Yes, pointlessly misogynistic. Also, untrue. Do you really have that many hoes, emailed Anthrax? Do you really have a lot of hoes? Period blood may be a tool to bind men. I think it's mostly a tool to drive women crazy. But
What?
Period blood. Tiny Man 66 said period blood is a tool to bind men. And I said, I think it's mostly a tool to drive women crazy.
Yeah, that's why they used to have them all together.
In a hut outside. All you chicks go in the hut outside, you're bleeding. Shut up, I like my period. See?
They like braid each other's hair and stuff.
Yeah, they braid each other's badge hair. You don't know what goes on in that hut out there. It's crazy. They look at pictures of boys in magazines and braid each other's badge hair. Well, Tiny Man 66, she's a little bit of a cougher right now. But she's doing the best she can with her woman lungs.
Yes.
She doesn't have Eric lungs. Not everybody does. Even I cough quite a bit. But this is fairly non-coffee as weed goes. We'll still cough some. You know.
I appreciate the sentiments.
A little condescending, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We can live with that, I guess.
Oh, was it condescending? I didn't take it as being that way, but you know, if you want to be that way, be that way.
Be that way. You do you. All right.
All right. Hey, you got a seed. I'll leave it there.
We'll put it someplace. That's likely to go off, I guess.
I don't want to knock it off.
I'll put it right here. We do have a plan growing right now, and it's almost guaranteed that it's going to grow. It's going to grow into a female because it came out of a bag that was all sensimilla, which means it's a Hermes seed. I think your rhymes were rather clever as well. Emailed answer. I don't mean to dismiss you entirely. I would just point out that there's no great advantage to rapping like a gangster when you aren't one. Now, look, when I say in a rap, I'm the god of rock, well, that's just because I am the god of rock, okay? It's a really ripe banana you're eating. Is it getting all over your face? Was it worth hitting you over your rhyme scheme? Did I hit you? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be dismissive. I'd have to hear you say it too. It's got a certain rhythm to it, I'm sure, that makes it work and pop or not, I can't hear it, so. Oh, you're a 25-year-old woman, tiny man, 6'6". Well, you say you're a tiny man. How am I supposed to know you're a woman? It would have been a bit of mansplaining, perhaps, if you were a man. Why do you think gangster rap influenced the rap game so much? Well, people like things that express anger and confidence. David White, please do not call Kyra a wonderful penis. That's not a compliment. Oh, a pianist. I'm sorry. I misread that. My mistake. Thanks, Noel Miriam. I like your liking in my insights. It makes me feel like an overripe banana that curious Kyra has eaten, smeared all over her hair, wondering how she was beaten by that banana she ate. How did it get on her face? It's because she missed her mouth when she tried to go and make it 8. Well, curious Kyra, that's something maybe on Friday Rachel and I can talk to you about, is how to eat things. This is where it goes. Not here, not here. Oh, yes, you are, little missy. Oh, yes, you are. Why did dubstep influence trance into becoming house or trip house or post-trance or ambient post-trance trip house? When did ambient post-trance trip house become the dominant medium of electronica? That's the question we're asking today. Did it emerge first from jungle, from drum and bass? Hard to say. Dubstep dancehall, y'all. That's my Jamaican accent. Sorry, as good as I could do. Eric, do you think this is an ENTP thing? Because I've heard so many ENTPs, including me, say I'm the god of ya. Maybe. My God of Rock song is mostly tongue-in-cheek. I don't really think I'm the God of Rock. The genre that I'm particularly making music in is called Eric Rock, though. You might say I'm the God of Eric Rock. Well, you got me pegged, Noel. Now, can you please move away from the caps lock button? I'm not even the God of bongs. Spacey, when he was living with me, he could bong it better than me. My old lungs, his younger lungs had a little bit of an advantage over me, I guess. He could bong it the fuck up, I felt a little overwhelmed by your caps lock, yeah. You were starting to cross some of my boundaries. Now listen, I want everybody here to understand something, okay? I have a lot of boundaries and triggers. So please be very, very careful what you say. For example, THE, that's one of my triggers. Please don't use it. Also, my pronoun changes randomly. So don't use any pronouns, please. Listen, there's a time and a place for caps lock, and other times, when it crosses my boundaries, it becomes a form of ontological violence, and we need to accept that. Okay? Today I'm talking about the way the world is, okay? Listen. Today in the world, first problem number one, there is so much racism. And we have to stop the racists from being so racist all the time. It's not fair that some races have privilege and other races don't. Problem number two, women are not treated the same as men. Do you know there's a pay gap? That men on balance make more than women? It's not fair. It's not okay. We need more laws about gender equity. Close that pay gap right now. Major problem number three in the world. Native Americans. Why aren't the Native Americans being given back the land that was taken from them a long time ago? Why don't we give them Los Angeles, for example? That would be good. The problem number four, the whales. Why don't we have more whales around? There should be lots of whales everywhere. Everywhere you look, there should be whales. Whales and porpoises and dolphins and lots of sea mammals everywhere, even on the land. Problem number five, pollution. Everybody needs to stop polluting. Okay? If you have like some trash or something, you put it in the trash can. If you've got a car, you stop driving it right now. Okay, hey, you better watch out. Better watch out, email that. You're going to get me in trouble with YouTube. Okay, now listen. What we all need to understand is that people are racist, and that's bad. Also, women are not treated fairly, and that's bad too. Everybody understand? Everybody understand, I hope. Yes, good. Good. I want to say something too. Slack chives matter. You see, a lot of people will only use the freshest and firmest of chives, but the reality is your chives can be a little bit wilted, a little slack, and they're still fine. Slack chives matter too. And I want people to start using their slack chives rather than throwing them away. Food wasting drives me insane. I just can't stand to see people wasting perfectly good chives just because they've gone a little slack. So this is why I say, everyone, join me in my new movement. Slack chives matter. Let's save the fresh chives for something else, but use those slack chives now before they go any more bad than they already have. Kyra first heard the word encroachment when her brother was playing a football game. Football has the best penalty names. Encroachment, offside is pretty straightforward. Illegal touching, defensive holding. Let's see what other. Unsportsmanlike conduct, targeting, chop block. What is that? Illegal chop block, I guess it's called. False start, delay of game, pass interference, illegal formation, illegal man in motion, I guess is another form of illegal formation.
I agree with that.
Illegal man in motion is a form of illegal formation.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have a separate penalty for it or not in football, though. I don't know if it's called separate name or not.
I didn't know that was a real thing.
Yeah. Unruly trespass is not a football penalty, but it should be, Martin. Now, let's ask for the football people to add unruly trespass. You like how I'm in I don't care yet I care mode? It's true. I don't care, but I do care. Okay? I do. Jason, please stop calling her a penis. Oh, a penis. Again, I misread that. I am so sorry. Trépasse in French. Why is a flutist called a flautist, but a lutist isn't called the loudest? If a flutist is called a flautist and a lutist is called a loudest, then why isn't Gouda called goutist? Important questions. Yes, let's force integrate. The only policy advocacy that's got any chance of working is forced integration. Let's force people of different races to live in the same house together, Big Brother style, with a camera, so they can learn to love and respect each other at the point of a gun, at gunpoint. It's the only way to solve racism. Vegan. I'm organidin. I don't eat anything organic. I only eat rocks. Rocks and dirt. That's all I eat. And air. And cigarettes, of course. And Coke. And that's it. Coke, cigarettes, dirt, sticks, and air. And rocks. I mentioned sticks. Sticks are organic, but I eat them anyway. Of course, raw. I wouldn't dream of cooking. I would not cook all the nutrition out of my rocks and sticks and dirt. Why would I do that? Of course I eat it. I'm a paleo. My diet is paleo, rock, stick, pebble, dirt. I'm called a stick, pebble, dirt subset of paleo, which is SPD. I'm what's known as a paleo SPD. Oh, boys. For a second, I thought you called us boils. I mean, that's not very polite. You look like that's what you eat, and this is a compliment. Here's the thing. I had said before, if Rachel told me at the beginning of talking to her that she was a vegan, that might have been a deal breaker because it would limit my restaurant choices so much. How do I justify killing the animals I eat? I don't kill the animals I eat. Someone else does. I don't know, Lyra Fajical. Would you like to rephrase your question? No, I pay for the meat. I have no interest in how it gets from animals to meat. That's not what I'm paying for. I'm paying for the meat. Now, you may call it murder, but that's not what I'm paying for. I'm not paying to have the animal killed. I'm paying to have the flesh of it that I can eat. So, I'm aware that animals are killed. I want to address this thing with Leo Schneider first. Okay? I'm aware that animals are killed to make my meat. How do I justify it? I don't. The thing is, animals don't have rights. So it's not wicked on a negative rights scale to kill animals for eating them. That doesn't mean that humans don't have custodial responsibilities. They do. And there may very well be a positive moral indication that says one ought to not eat animals. However, positive moral indications are always particularist, not universalist. So there is no universal way to say one has a moral obligation to be vegan or vegetarian. And that's the long and the short of it, Leo Schneider. I know they do. It doesn't mean they have rights. And I would tend to agree with you that there's a positive moral indication that one ought to be vegetarian. I feel as though I probably ought to be vegetarian, but I'm not, and I can't. And I also acknowledge and recognize the fact that that's a particularist indication that I'm feeling as a custodial duty towards animals rather than as a respect for their rights. Okay, rights don't emerge from the ability to feel pain. Humans have rights because they have the ability to recognize the rights of others and forfeit those rights, and do so in a basically because of the capacity to consent. That's why people have rights. The capacity to consent means ownership, and ownership means rights. So, Leo Schneider, did I successfully answer all your questions? Do you have any other arguments that I haven't heard before? Anything interesting? I've actually resolved the question. No, just because something doesn't have rights does not mean it's necessarily okay to kill them, right? Like I said, individuals do have custodial duties and humans have custodial duties. And the fact is, if you want to hold me accountable to my position, you are correct. I don't think retarded people who don't have metacognition have rights. That's true. I don't think they do. But we treat them as though they do because we have a custodial responsibility to treat them as though they do. There's no social contract. Social contract's bullshit. A contract is explicitly involves the consent of two parties. The so-called social contract involves no consent. So it doesn't exist. It's bullshit use of the term contract. You're misusing a word. Are we clear now? Have I cleared it all up for you? What I'm telling you are the correct arguments on the matter. No, I don't have a double standard. Absolutely not. Where's the double standard? I'm agreeing with you that you're asking me where's the custodial duty come from for humans, for fellow species mates, rather than for animals? Well, I mean, the thing is, I'm not sure the custodial duty is a universal obligation. I'm not sure we are universally obligated to respect retarded human beings as though they had the same rights as other human beings. I don't think that's a universal obligation. So you're right there. I don't agree that that's a universal obligation. But that doesn't mean that I don't agree that we ought to treat it as though we're one for a variety of reasons. And I do. So that's okay. There's no double standard. I agree with you that it's not a universal obligation to not kill people who lack the ability to metacognate. Not just in their stage of development, but as a state of their ontology. But I think that because it's a very difficult line to draw, we're almost certainly always better served to err on the side of more rights, not fewer, when it comes to species mates. Is that speciesist of me? Yes, and that's okay. What do you think justifies it? Which is the trait of the animal which justifies killing it? We don't need to justify killing it because we're not violating its rights. But the justification is utility in that instance. It's a non-deontological justification because it doesn't need a deontological justification because we're not violating its rights. Listen, Leo Schneider, no matter how passionately you feel about this, listen, Leo Schneider, no matter how passionately you feel about this, these are the correct arguments and they are the winning arguments. I've thought this through a bunch of times, argued with a bunch of people. No, I'm not saying it's okay for an alien to kill me because, of course, the standard you're ignoring here is the metacognition standard. The reason humans have rights is they have the capacity for metacognition. Also, aliens presumably would have the same capacity for metacognition, so they would have the same rights, and they would have to respect that of us as well. Since the standard is specific to the ability to metacognate rather than to any specific species, then it's not so much speciesist as you would say sentientist. Correct? Now you stand corrected. People come in here and want to try me, but I have the answers to everything. Your arguments might offend some feelers. Does that ever bother you or make you at a loss in some ways? How do you deal with that? Feelers offend me by ignoring my arguments. That's how I deal with it, is get annoyed by them. Fuck that noise. Why am I going to be... No, it's not okay. Just because something is not universal moral prohibition doesn't mean it's okay. There are lots of things that are not morally prohibited that you shouldn't do. Right? I'm not morally prohibited from lambasting you in this fashion, but as somebody here points out, I should probably be nicer about it. Right? It's not okay for me to bully you and to be all condescending and take that tone with you about this simply because I disagree with you. And I've heard all these arguments before. You've not engaged me with these arguments before. So I understand. And I should treat you with more respect. So that's what's... I didn't do anything wrong, but I'm doing more right now than I was before. Same thing with vegetarianism. I'm not doing anything wrong by eating meat, but I would be more moral if I didn't. Get it?
Everyone can go.
Metacognition is a precondition of the ability to consent. No, that's not correct, Leo Schneider. Listen, I'm not doing something wrong by eating meat. It's not immoral or wicked to eat meat because it violates no negative universal prohibition. However, my own particular personal morality suggests that animals are by and large like us other sentient creatures, and that it would be better if I didn't eat them and cause them to be killed as a consequence. Okay? Leo Schneider, that's fine. You're German, your English isn't great. Listen to what I'm saying, though. Okay? What I'm saying is the facts. We have to determine negative and positive obligations and indications differently. And each individual has their own personal positive moral indications. If it doesn't violate a negative moral indication, then they have to determine their positive moral indications in a particular fashion. Okay, but Leo Schneider, to say that there's a victim involved, the only way that would be true is if rights were being violated, and that's not the case. So that's not true. And, we have to acknowledge, Leo, the truth about things in general in life. So, for example, what I'm saying is correct. Note that I'm not saying to you or anybody else whether they should or should not eat meat. I'm saying there's no negative moral prohibition against it. I personally feel a positive moral indication towards vegetarianism. No, Leo Schneider, rights are something very specific. A negative right is a right to be free from interference. Animals don't afford other animals that right, therefore are not subject to claiming it. They don't communicate about rights, so therefore they are not subject to having them. Okay, well, animals can resist or not resist you, right? So let's say I'm super calm and calmly talk a cow into coming over here. Come right here, baby. Come right here, baby. Yeah, I love you so much. And bam, shoot it in the head. Well, did it consent because it came right over to me? No, because it didn't know what I was going to do to it, right? So if I said to it, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you, and it doesn't come over, it's still not consenting because it still doesn't know what I'm going to do to it. Retarded people it's not okay killing them. I agree with you. That's my personal opinion, that it's not okay to kill people who don't have rights. That we as a society have a positive moral indication that we all ought to, in my opinion, affirm that we respect those people who don't have rights technically and treat them as though they do, because it's good for a number of practical ends justify the means reasons, not because the logic of it suggests they should have those rights. Do you understand that there's no way for an animal to consent or not consent to being killed, right? It doesn't make any sense. On the other hand, there's something called euthanasia. Some like Oregon has got a painless death law or something where humans can in fact choose to die if they're very ill. The point is, we have to understand, Leo Schneider, that rights mean something specific. And you're trying to make an animal rights-based argument here, but it's not going to withstand muster. It won't withstand scrutiny. No, Leo, listen, you're not trying to understand me. Obviously, animals don't consent to being killed, nor do they consent to being kept on farms. No. I'm saying if I schmoozed the cow over to me and said, come here, cow, and then killed it all of a sudden, and so that it didn't resist at all, it still wouldn't have consented. That's what I'm saying. And look, the key thing to take away from this, that I'm hoping that that Leo Schneider takes away from this, is that it's certainly reasonable to say that there's a positive moral indication that you have, and a particularist one, towards vegetarianism. It's even perfectly reasonable to say you find it generally more in keeping with positive moral indication overall for other people to adopt a similar approach towards animals. You find that when one talks about the proper moral approach towards custodianship over animals, it involves reduction of suffering, limiting of pain, and stuff like that. And all those are legitimate points. But then you have to also, if you want to be smart about things and be correct, you have to say, however, you acknowledge there is no negative moral obligation to not eat meat. That it is not the case that you are a wicked person for eating meat. That is the correct assessment of the matter. That's all there is to it. So I've just explained to you all you need to know about the subject. If you have any other questions, you should ask them. Stop trying to make stupid arguments that aren't going to work. Clarify for yourself your understanding of the limits of the claims you can successfully make and sustain and those you can't. I will explain to you the answers. I am a professional debate coach. I coached this topic before. Animals don't have a right to live. If they had a right to live, then when killed by another animal, that other animal would be criminally liable for their death and we'd need to arrest it. That's what it means to have a right to live. Animals are not slaves either. Personally, my relationship with my cat, she is a free and independent friend who I just happen to take care of. I don't see her as my possession. However, if I had a herd of cattle, I would see them as my possessions. I mean, no, I have the indication. I have a particular positive moral indication. The extent to which that's obligatory is between you and God, more or less. And, you know, look, you can think of it this way. Everybody's a moral agent, and everybody's moral agency is going to be directed to some things and not others. Some people are going to change their ways to make themselves more honest. Some people are going to change their ways to make themselves eat less meat. Some people are going to change their ways to make themselves exercise more. Blah, blah, blah. You don't get to determine something that's a positive moral indication for other people that ought to be a priority for them. That's one of the main differences between a positive and negative moral indication. If someone violates a negative moral obligation, then they are very much subject to public scrutiny and finger wagging and getting in trouble and admonishment and potentially criminal punishment as well, because they're violating the negative right that they have to afford everybody else to enjoy their own negative rights. The reason that they're not currently having any liberty restricted is because they haven't violated anybody else's rights.
10 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Oh, they changed it. They latened it again, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So
Yeah, that's cool.
So what I'm saying is, look, if you want to be, of course, I debate anybody on the subject. I'll win the debate against anybody on the subject. Anybody, anytime. Eric, you are one of the most open-minded humans I've ever met, but at the same time stubborn. I think no one is able to be open-minded as human. I'm pretty open-minded. I'm willing to be convinced otherwise if I hear the right argument. It's got to answer all the arguments I just made and make me go, oh, hadn't thought about that. Very unlikely to happen. Extremely unlikely. I know all the speciest arguments. I know a whole fucking range of them. Yeah, I do. Like I said, I am a professional debate coach, Leo, and I've coached this topic before. Because of the nature of the claims I'm making, I'm saying, listen, these are the winning arguments on this issue. I'm not saying you should do right? Saying here's why that argument loses, and here are the actual winning arguments on it. I don't care if the fuck you believe it or not. I don't care what you do or what you believe. But you should believe that I'm not lying to you about what the winning arguments are. What do I think of the riots going on in Cydonia, Mars? I don't trust the Martians. You'd love to see me running Name the Trade. Look, I don't like to give TE justifications like my status, my profession, what I've done and stuff. But it's part of a complete package of persuasion. People are responsive to TE stuff like credentials and legitimacy symbols are responsive to that. It's kind of like Kanye West says in the song American Boy. He says, I know you don't want to hear about that cat. I know you don't like that cash money talk, but a lot of wags want to hear it, you know? Sure. I'm happy to debate him anytime. I can't debate him until 7 p.m. my time tonight. I can't do anything before then because I have work at 4 o'clock and I got dinner at 6 o'clock. But starting 7 p.m. tonight, I can debate him anytime. Eric, you still haven't answered my last question. You said if the cow came over and didn't know what you were going to do and you suddenly killed it, then it didn't consent. But you can't make the same argument if you kill a human. Right. What I was trying to dispute when I said that was that animals don't consent because they thrash and try to get away from you killing them. And I was saying, well, no, it doesn't matter because they still wouldn't have consented if they didn't do that, I was just saying that's an irrelevant vector. Time skipping abilities? I don't have any time skipping abilities. Oh, maybe I do, actually. Will I massage him too? Do I have to massage him, Leo? If you give me an email address or something. What's a slave? Somebody who's compelled by use of force to do work non-consensually, I guess. No, IAG's last. You're listen. The only thing I was saying, you're misunderstanding the point of why I said that. Okay, it is true that the cow would not have consented to being killed, even if it walked up to me very casually and I surprised it and it gave me no. In other words, it didn't look like it was scared or give me any indication it didn't want to be killed. I totally took it by surprise, so it had no chance to give me an indication of a lack of consent. It still wouldn't have consented. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I don't. You're saying I'm justifying things with that claim that I'm not justifying with that claim. The only thing I was disagreeing with was the notion that we can know animals don't consent because they thrash about and give other indications that they don't want to be hurt or killed, and that's how come we know they're not consenting. We don't even need that to know they're not consenting. They can't. They're not consenting because they're not capable of consent. Somebody is compelled by force to do work. That's not a definition of a slave? Why not? Sounds like a definition of a slave to me. Somebody's compelled by force to do work. You pick this cotton or I'll whip you, kind of thing, Why would that not be slavery? What would you like the definition of slavery to be? You want it to be something vague and abstract that you can generalize out to include government or some other thing like that? Homie, don't play that game. Homie, don't play that. And who's homie? Me. I'm homie. That's who. emailed anthrax. Me. Homie. Home fries. Some of my friends call me Holmes. Clowny.
Home slice.
Home slice. Poppin' fresh. Pickup sticks. Candyland. Chutes and ladders. They call me all these names. No, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying that you don't need indicators of a lack of consent to not consent to something. That's what I'm saying. It's like, if a chick's passed out drunk and she doesn't object to you poking her, that's not consensual sex, right? That's non-consensual. She didn't consent even though she didn't object. Right. Silence is not consent. In debate, silence is assent, which means if I say an argument and you drop it, you don't say anything in response to it, we can assume you agree to it or you would have responded to it. So in debate, silence equals assent. I always have to chide debaters because they always say the wrong thing in rounds. They go, silence equals consent. And I say, no. Silence does not equal consent. Silence equals assent. And only in debate, not in anywhere else,
No, I think it's a good. Silence can be useful sometimes.
Right. But in debate round, if you don't respond to something, it's a bad thing. So that means you agree to it. That's what it means in debate when you say silence equals assent. It's like, my third argument is meow-diddy meow. And then the person goes, here's my rebuttal to his first argument. Here's my rebuttal to his second argument. Here's my rebuttal to his fourth argument. And drops the third argument, right? Then you go, silence equals assent. He didn't say anything about my third argument. That means he must agree with it.
Cool.
That's just in debate. That's not in life.
No, that's not.
Talking about The Game of Life by Milton Bradley, of course.
Yes.
Good old Milton Bradley. He was a clever game maker. He made so many games.
He did.
I wonder how many Milton Bradley games a guy named Milton Bradley is actually responsible for.
That's a good question.
Was there actually a guy named Milton Bradley who invented the first game that Milton Bradley games sold?
Yeah, was it Milton Bradley one dude or Milton Bradley two people?
Oh, you think it might be Milton James and Bradley Josephs?
Yeah.
All right, could be. Let's look.
I really honestly don't know.
Let's see. It's not a difference. There is no difference if it's an animal or a human. IAG last that we cannot conclude consent occurred just because there's no indication of a lack of consent for either humans or animals. The point is, animals don't consent because they can't consent, whereas humans can consent. So if they don't consent, it means something a little different. With animals, the issue of consent is a category error. So say they're not consenting or consenting are both wrong. So Leo, if you want to send me some sort of place to send a message to, who's this person you're talking about? Research, ask yourself on YouTube. Here, I'll tell you what. Listen, Leo Schneider, I'm going to make you a moderator briefly. If you can put a link to this person you want me to message, please, I would appreciate it. And then I'm going to unmoderate you after you put the link, okay? Look, it is conceivable to make an animal into property, but to do so is to engage in what's called animal husbandry, and that includes very specific custodial obligations that you take on that are particularized. So people who do possess animals, that's to say, people who have domesticated farm animals, chickens, pigs, cows, they have obligations to those chickens, pigs, cows that they take on by becoming custodians of them. Are those universally acknowledged obligations? No, those are teleological. They are particularist, and we draw lines rather somewhere because we have to draw them somewhere, and it's somewhat arbitrary. Okay, thanks, Leo. I will. So, okay, let me ask you this: how should I message him? Should I put a comment or what? Oh, is he an agnostic too? I can win the agnostic argument as well. I'm gonna try with LinkedIn actually. So can you tell me what I should do? What do you think I should do? Should I leave a comment? Right. Yeah, rights are the ability to respect rights, claim rights, exercise rights requires ability to communicate. Not necessarily speak, but you could have a disability and still be mentally normal and communicate in some assisted way. That's fine. That doesn't make you less human. It's basically the persistence of an identity across time. They can successfully lay claim to property. So, it requires the capacity to put work over time into a resource to create it, to Lockean, to homestead in a Lockean fashion. No, you don't need to be consciously aware of said rights. I mean, you don't need to be intellectually correct about the rights, but a human being is presumed to have an implicit understanding of what it means to violate the rights of another person, to interfere in their business, to steal their shit, to hit them, to stab them, that kind of stuff. You don't have to be able to articulate your rights to lay claim to them. For example, I don't have to say I'm exercising my right to be silent. I can simply be silent. And that's exercising my right. Whether or not the other party then respects that right is up to them. And they might use force to compel me to speak. At that point, they would be engaging in a crime of violating my rights. Some rights I forfeit when I commit a crime or I'm suspected of a crime. Others I do not. They need to be able to metacognate. In other words, perceive themselves as moral agents. And that's why when people are bonkers, we don't typically hold them responsible for their actions. Because they're not themselves. There's something, they have a mental disease of some sort at that moment. And so they can't be held accountable entirely for their actions. And of course, you can tell somewhat by how they talk and behave after the fact, after they're no longer in that state. If somebody who's... So, Leo, tell me, what should I put there? I didn't... Did Octavio say something what I should put? Oh, okay. I'll email. I'm fine. All right, so what should I say in the email, you guys? Want to type my cat? I would love to type your cat. What? When Yeeting's Not Dank Enough was flagged to us for review. Upon review, we determined that it violates our guidelines and were removed from YouTube. However, you don't get a strike. Okay, well, fine. I don't get a strike. Fine, whatever. What? Why is it that when Yeeting's Not Dank Enough, why would it get removed? You know? What did I say? What did I do? Well, I just make a bunch of jokes, for God's sakes. Says, yay, Eric. Yay, he is risen. That's nice. Thanks, Dave. Dave is happy to see me on Facebook.
Yay!
What am I looking for in my email? I was going to write an email. That's right. Compose. Paste. Subject. Debating veganism. Vegetarianism. Hi. My name is Hostart. Eric Strauss. And I'm the host of Talking with Famous People on YouTube. I'll put a link to the channel here. God, that thing made my heart race. That thing on YouTube saying remove that video. I was like, did I get a strike? No strike. But
Oh, what?
it made my heart race.
Yeah.
Actually, I worried for a second. I'm going to be in trouble. What did I do? I just make a bunch of jokes. You know, it's not. I'm not. No hate speech. There's no.
And the other side of the problem too is that it's like an algorithm that's just like if it's a word that's said, then it strikes. It's computerized. It's not really.
Well, they said they reviewed it. I don't know if that means. I don't know what that means.
This should say that if it means that someone did review it then. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, probably.
Oh, it might have been. I don't know. Whatever. One of your fans, one of your viewers, Leo Poops a Lot from Germany. What's his last name? Leo Schneider. Hey, you know what? Spelled differently, Leo, but my mother's maiden name is Schneider. Isn't that interesting?
It is.
Leo Schneider. SCH Schneider. Oh, I don't want that. Has come to my live stream and has been frustrated in his attempts to argue his side of things. He asked that I message you Folks, we got fuel. Debate me. And win the issue. If you're interested, hit me back. My schedule is pretty open right now. Okay, there. I ain't no hollaback girl. Okay? I'm not gonna hollaback this time. Isn't it ironic? Well, isn't it romantic? Isn't it romantic? Having all this cheese in front of me right now. Isn't it romantic? So the argument is then, are humans behaving outside their own natural behavior when killing animals for food or goods? Why is that an argument? To say that that's relevant is to make a naturalistic fallacy. It doesn't matter whether it's natural or not. That's not a relevant vector in whether something's normatively good. Schneider is a meat brand. Funny because I like to rap. Tighter than my beat, man. Runny like the eggs I tap. There's some rhymes for you. There's some rappings. Schneider is a meat brand. Funny because I like to rap. Tighter than this beat, man. Running like the eggs I tap. What debate tips would you give someone who isn't a very good lateral thinker, an NI or SI dumb, I suppose? INFJs can be pretty effective debaters, but what they do is they learn. They have to be coached. You give them the topic and they learn the blocks of arguments that they're going to make. And then you train them how to respond to those things. The thing is, left to their own devices, INFJs will make too many of the same kind of warrant, which is, sure, bye, Leo. Which is, well, people will be impacted like this. This is what's most. This is where the motivations come from and stuff. They're more inclined to appeal to like feelings based but not feelings based, but like logics that appeal to people who are feelers. If one were to suppose that all animals have rights, then one could posit that lions are violating the rights of their prey when they're hunting. Right. And then we'd have to arrest them and put them in jail until they learn their lesson and we let them out and they stop killing other animals. Right. That's obviously not the case. So, as a consequence, meow, diddy, meow, diddy, meow. You are so my dear.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I've got to end this live stream. I got to work in 15 minutes and I want to sort of walk around a bit before I start work. Thank you all for being here. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to try to have this sort of calm demeanor when I debate anybody from now on. Knock on wood, wishful thinking, Eric. Good luck with that, but we're going to try.
Hey, that's not, I like that. I like that tryingness.
Thanks, darling.
Yeah.